So last day we looked at the prefixes. Well, let's go to the base units first. The base units that we're going to use for mass would be grams, G, length is meters, temperature is Kelvin. We'll deal with that later on. Volumes, liters. What we're going to deal with today is going to be mass, length, and volume, and a little bit of time. The moles, that's the whole next unit. So we'll talk about what that is later on. Energy, joules, that's mostly physics that you would deal with that, but we look at it a little bit. These are the base units. Then we added prefixes. So giga, mega, kilo, centi, milli, micro. The ones you should know are kilo and centi, basically. If you can remember that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, right? 100 centimeters is a meter. 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters, all right? And a kilometer is 1,000 meters. You should know those ones, all right? All the other ones, the gigas, the megas, the millis, the micros, I will give you those, okay? But you should know those. And also, this is equivalent to this unit conversion, 1 kilogram per 1,000 grams, or 1,000 grams per kilogram. You rearrange it depending on what units you want to cancel, okay? So then we looked at unit conversions. We started with a basic one. How many grams are in 56.7 kilograms? I know you can probably just do this quickly in your head, but I want you to set them up because you're going to see today that they can get long. So what you have is in the first little corner box thing, and then you just try to cancel the units using your conversion factors. So we have 56.7 kilograms, 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. Kilograms cancel. When you go across the top, you multiply. When you go across the bottom, you multiply, and then your answers, you'll see at the end, you divide the top by the bottom to get your final answer when we get there. Sometimes you have to do 2 steps. So if I ask you how many centimeters are in 1.78 times 10 to the minus 5 kilometers, our base unit for length is meters. So the first step is to get it to the base unit. So that's why we convert what we have, the kilometers, into meters. I want the kilometers to go away. And then I can convert the meters into centimeters. So we're going to do this one, but we're going to change it here. We're going to turn it into milligrams, not megagrams. How many milligrams are there in 8.9 kilograms to make this more interesting?
Oh, it already says that on your sheet.
Does it? Oh, I might have changed it on your sheet and didn't change it on mine.
We'll just guide on
It's milligrams to kilograms in your sheet? Okay.
Guide on the risk.
So 8.9 kilograms, that's what we're given. That's what we start with. So 8.9 kilograms, you write that out. Now, there's no straight conversion from kilograms to milligrams. So we need to, the middle conversion, the base unit for mass is grams. Is there a conversion between grams and kilograms? I.e., how many grams are in a kilogram? 1,000, right? That's one of the ones. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, or 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. Okay? Which one of these do I want to use, this one, or do I want to use this one in the first box? Do I want grams in the bottom or the top is what I'm asking. Gram. You want it at the top because you want kilograms in the bottom, right? So if I know that there's 1,000 grams for 1 kilogram, so the kilograms now will cancel out. So the only unit that's left is grams. But I don't want grams. I want milligrams. So what I need something with grams there and milligrams there. What's the conversion?
1,000 milligrams.
1,000 milligrams is a gram. So if we go back, Do I have this down here somewhere? I do not. Let's write that one down too. 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram, or 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. Maybe I'll just give you all these. Put them at the top of your test. You should know them. They show up enough that you should know them. But all right. So 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. So if we go back here, I can write 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. I don't need grams twice. Now we can see that grams cancel, and the only thing that's left is milligrams. As you go across the top, you multiply. So it's 8.9 times 1,000 times 1,000. What's 8.9 times 1,000 times 1,000? Whoa, I don't remember writing that color. I'll do it in scientific notation. 8.9 times 10 to the 6. The units are milligrams. How many sig figs are we supposed to have? Why 2? Because we're multiplying, so you look at the least number of sig figs. This one has 2. These, how many sig figs do these have?
Infinite.
These are infinite, right? Because these are conversion. These are known things. Oh, we know there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. Okay, so we don't use those ones. You use what you started with. So 8.9 times 10 to the 6 milligrams.
Question.
Yep.
In the question later, it says how many seconds are there in a year? Wouldn't that year, 365 days, be infinite amount of sig figs?
Okay. What about if, well, let's try this next one. So they both have prefixes. So same idea. Microliters in 5 kiloliters. 5. What does kilo mean? Kilometer. How many meters are in a kilometer? 1,000. So kilo means 1,000. So if I have a kiloliter, how many liters do I have? 1,000. All right. So I want the kiloliters to cancel. So you want kiloliters in denominator, and because it's kilo, it's 1,000 liters. So kiloliters cancels out. I'm trying to get liters to microliters. So that is a conversion factor. Micro. So if you go back to this table here, micro is 10 to the minus 6. Okay, micro is small. All right. So, come here. 1 microliter is how many liters? What's the conversion factor? It's 10 to the minus 6, right? So that means 1 microliter is 1 times 10 to the minus 6 liters. Okay. What do you do with the top numbers? Multiply. So 5 times 1,000 times 1 is 5,000, say. Microliters. And now we're dividing. 1 times this is, you don't have to do this in 2 steps, but we'll do that. What happens if you divide 5,000 by 1 times 10 to the 6 minus 6? Please do it on your calculators. I want them to do it. Don't answer. It should be in scientific notation.
What type of tea are you drinking?
Yerba mate.
The same you always drink?
What do we got, peoples? What's it in scientific notation? Five times 10 to the 9.
Shouldn't we do 5.0?
Yeah, it's going to be 5.0. So, how many sig figs do we need to have? 2 because of... Oh, that didn't work. Because of that, right? So this should be 5.0 times 10 to the 9. And the answer is microliters. So you should ask yourself, once you do these, ask yourself, does that number make sense? Okay, because what am I asking for? Kilo is bigger than micro, right? Like if you forget that, you can always just look here. Kilo, these are getting bigger going this way. Okay, so kilo is bigger than micro. So if I have kiloliters, 5 kiloliters, is that going to be a lot of microliters? It's like saying if I have 5 kilometers, how many milliliters are in a, or millimeters? How many millimeters are in a kilometer? A lot, right? The number is going to go higher, right? Because it's taking it's a whole bunch of small measurements. Where's the meter set? How many millimeters are on this? This is 1 meter, but there's a lot of millimeters here. Okay, so if you're converting a large measurement into a small measurement, the number should go up, which is what it did. We went from 5 kiloliters, means we have 5 times 10 to the 9 microliters. Does that make sense? If I said I had 10 millimeters, how many kilometers is that? 0.00 whatever, right? It's smaller. Okay, so just try to think about your number, the answer you get, and see if it makes sense. All right, 0.0006 centimeters. Should we just write this in scientific notation? I'm going to write it in scientific notation. 6 times 10 to the minus 4 centimeters. All right, I want to get it to megameters. I can't go straight there. What's the first step I have to convert centimeters to? You got to convert it to meters. What's the conversion between meters and centimeters? I.e., how many centimeters are in a meter? How many centimeters are in a meter? 100, right? A century is 100. So there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Centimeters cancel. All right, now I got to get meters to megameters. If you look at the table, mega means 10 to the 6, right? That means 1 megameter is 1.0 times 10 to the 6 meters. All right, so 1 times 10 to the 6 meters is 1 megameter. All right. Multiply across the top. So about the units. The units cancel for meters. We're left with megameters. 6 times 1 times 1. That's the top is going to stay the same. the bottom is 100 times 1.0 times 10 to the 6. Should be 1.0 times 10 to the 8, I think. Yeah. So you get that. And then you divide the top and the bottom. And you should get... How many sig figs should your answer have? Let's start with that. Should have 1, right? Because this has 1. This determines everything. Everything else is just the conversion factor. So we basically just ignore those. It's going to be this. So it should have 1, and you should get times 10 to the minus 12 megameters. How are we feeling with this? You try these, please. So we're going to convert milligrams to gigagrams. All right. We start with 4.0 kilograms per liter. Which one am I trying to change? That's kilograms, that's kilograms. So I'm not changing the kilograms, I need to change the milliliters, okay, into liters. So now you just have to do a little bit of thinking. If liters is in the bottom, and I need to cancel liters, in the next box, where does liters have to be? Top or bottom? Top, right? Because they have to be at a diagonal to cancel. Okay. So that means I have to have liters up here and milliliters there. What's the conversion between milliliters and liters? How many milliliters are in a liter? 1,000 milliliters or 1 liter. So this is why, sorry, I'll go back. This is why here you want to be able to write them both ways. Okay? Because it depends what you're trying to cancel out. So now the liters would cancel. And then if I look at my units, I have kilograms per milliliter, which is what I want my answer in. So you could go across the top. We'll do it just for completeness. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Please write the units, especially in the next unit. If you don't write the units, you're going to get confused. 4 divided by 1,000. How many sig figs in my answer? 2, right? Because this has 2 sig figs. So 4.0 times 10 to the minus 3 kilograms per milliliter. All right. All right. Grams per microliter to grams per liter. What unit do I need to get rid of? What am I changing?
Microliters.
Microliters. I want to convert microliters to liters. What's the conversion between microliters and liters? You need to look on your table. Where is it? What does micro mean? It means 10 to the minus 6, right? So 1 microliter is how many liters? 10 to the minus 6, or 1 times 10 to the minus 6 liters. So if we go back here, 1 microliter is 1 times 10 to the minus 6 liters. So I know microliters cancel. Grams per liter, which is what I want. So if I just divide 0.006 by 1 times 10 to the minus 6, I should get, it's not a decimal, 6 times 10 to the 3 grams per liter. Okay. How about, what do we got? We got like 15 minutes left. Sorry? We finished early today, right?
Yeah, right.
Let's do,
Anyway,
1 to 3, please. Just those 3. And then we'll go over the answers quickly. And then we'll pick this up on Monday. I'm going to spend some time on this because it is super important for the next unit. I don't just want to blow through it.